Hey everybody, welcome to the Ration Museum Bulletin number 80. Today is July 25th, 2022, and we are going to be working on the collection website, just going through and seeing if I can make a couple quick changes today. Didn't get to do too much last week since we were focused on fixing, well, I guess, we fixed the no image thing. So there's more to fix. There's more to adjust before it's ready to go live. So hopefully getting an hour or so worth of that done today, and then going to jump into this right here. We're going to review the dinner portion of the ration from Kazakhstan. I did clean up the busted up, or not busted up, the gunked up part of ration. There was some nastiness throughout the what I'm assuming was breakfast, the smaller meal. And as I suspected at the end of last week's stream, it was just jam. So I tossed out the jam package, washed all the jam off of everything, and let it dry. I'm not going to eat that meal today just because it's a little too small, and its contents are something we looked at last week because it's just crackers, black tea, sugar, and kasha. So we've seen that. We saw all those things last week. So this week, we've got borscht, Shawker, crackers, and more black tea. But this should be a fun one. I'm interested to see how the borscht turns out. If I understand correctly, I should be consuming that warm, not cold. It's not gazpacho. So yeah, that'll be a warm beet soup. I brought a bowl for that, and I brought out the razor sharp ration heater to take care of cooking up those. We're gonna cook through the Tushonka first, and then swap the can out for the borscht and just get it warm at least. So all that said, let's do some howdies. Looks like we got a crew here already. We got Spicy Tuna Rolls, we got Mike Kreischer Reviews, and we got MFOs. We got James. Hey guys, welcome. Good to have all you. So, like I said, this week we're going to be jumping into the museum website and a couple things that go along with that. I'm still setting up a little bit here. Today is a regular work heavy day. So been working up until this point, and decided on a 2-hour stream yesterday when it looked like there was going to be just a lot going on today. So I'll be jumping back into work right after this. So this will be a nice little respite from that. Just bear with me 1 minute while I finish setting a few things up. All right. Uh-oh. Oh God, I've probably been doubling up the audio this entire time. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, well, I think that's fixed now. Sorry about that. Yeah, that was probably just doubled up this whole time. But that's, the least of our worries. All right, 1 or 2 more things, and then we're good to go. Yeah, I was trying to pull the chat from YouTube directly into the stream, so that I wasn't relying on the Restream plugin that makes this chat down here. Since we had so much trouble with it last week, but I couldn't figure it out in time, so I've just got another window where that's showing up for today. So I've got that on live chat. Hopefully I won't miss anybody. Fingers crossed we don't end up in a spot where, you know, I'm not seeing any chat updates for like 10 minutes this time. Spicy, I don't know what you're using to do your subtitles, but I used to use an online version that would do audio subtitling in real time. It might be something like that that you can use, or are you just typing out everything you said? That could be a lot of work. Though I don't know how to make like a separate subtitle track, so I'm not sure I could be much help. Let's see. Fire up this. Oh, okay. I haven't really messed with that too much. I tried earlier this year to clip the bits and pieces from the Doswell Expo years ago, and it broke both of those videos. Attempting to process pieces of them destroyed the originals and left it in a sorry, we're just still trying to process for like a month. And then eventually it was like, this video is corrupted. Thankfully, I had pulled down the videos beforehand, and I still have the big one. It's just I don't have that one up or any portions of it really because you know it's got a lot of Steve in it, and I didn't want to be in a position where like you know the Ration Museum's channel is using Steve content to draw people in because I'm sure he wouldn't want that at this point. All right, so hopefully the sound is fine at this point. Sorry again about the doubled up audio there. It looked like it was pretty quiet, but it was still probably sounding a little awkward there in the background. Just logging into all the different bits and pieces here. How's everybody's last week been? Hopefully it was a good one. It has been hot. You know, it's been high 90s, low 100s here in Philly. It's quite warm, high 30s Celsius, I guess. Um, I've stayed inside for the most part, and I have this system where I've locked off or blocked off big portions of the house so that what I'm air conditioning stays, you know, specific to where I'm actually going to be in the house. And yeah, the moment I pass one of those barriers into one of the closed off rooms, it's like 90 degrees plus in any of them. So not pleasant. This is just another reminder for anybody who's ever looking for first strike rations. They're still on Amazon right now for the price came down. They're 140 a case now. That's the best you're going to find anywhere right now. I'm seeing cases selling every couple days. You know, one or two cases are selling on eBay for well over 200 bucks. Individual FSRs are selling for like $30 each on eBay. So getting 9 of them for 140 bucks, while it's not, you know, an insane deal, it's still about $15 per FSR, which is about the equivalent of spending about $5 for an MRE. So I consider that pretty good. I've been eating nothing but FSRs for like 10 days now because it's about the same as the price of groceries lately. So I love first strike rations. So I'm going to eat them, you know, if I get the chance. I do need to eat some like salad or something soon because it has been probably a month since I've eaten anything fresh. Been eating mainly HDRs and FSRs and stuff like this Kazakhstan ration and the Lithuanian and the Polish and the, wait, no, I didn't have Polish, but all that kind of stuff. Oh my God, the caffeine in an FSR is a bit much. You're right, Spicy. It's like they give you 5 pieces of First Strike gum, or I mean what's the name of that? I'm drawing a blank right now, but yeah, you get five pieces of the gum, and then you get you do get 1 cup of coffee, and you get Stay Alert gum. Yeah, you get 5 of those, 1 of the coffee. Some of them have the caffeinated pudding. You get the caffeinated mocha First Strike bars, and some of them too. You get the mocha dessert bars in a lot of those. This applesauce doesn't have caffeine, but it has extra energy, so you got maltodextrin. And what's neat is I've been spotting a lot of new packed by Warnick Zapplesauce, but Zapplesauce is a brand, and they don't make it, so they're just their packets are just maltodextrin enhanced applesauce, which neat to see those recently. I will say this: my newer cases of FSRs, they're full of errors. There's all kinds of mistakes. So they have their 2 main entrees listed on the bag. So there'll be like, honey barbecue chicken sandwich and, spicy tuna, is on a bunch of them. There has been 0 tuna at all in the case. There were 2 marked with tuna. They both came with their mayonnaise, but but the tuna pouch in both cases was something else. One time it was a chicken, garlic, and herb, and the other time it was a second shelf-stable sandwich of the same type. So I got 2 sandwiches, or I got 1 sandwich and some chicken. So interesting that they have mistakes. A couple of them had the bread item missing or the wrong spread. So it's been a little weird. I don't know. Maybe that's potentially why I'm getting them, why they're so cheap, is somebody got somebody did an inspection on the line and said, these are all wrong, pull this lot, which would seem crazy because you could just slice them back open and dump all their contents back into the mix to repack. But maybe that's it, because these things are only 65 days old before they ended up in my hands, and that's ridiculous. Because this person that got them before me had to get them, put the ad up, sell a few, because I didn't stumble on them on day one, and how much leeway did he have? Meaning, like, were these things a week old, 3 weeks old when he ended up with them? Still has at least 30 cases. So just search Amazon for First Strike Ration and you'll find them. But totally worth it. Really, really cheap case comparatively. You're just not going to do anywhere near that good on eBay or, Facebook Marketplace. And, when he goes out of stock, he usually goes out of stock for the better part of a year. So we'll see. We'll see. Hey, we got This and That with Matt jumping in. Good to have you. It sounds like counterfeit FSRs. No, everything's definitely right. Or definitely official. Like, there's nothing else that jumps out. It's just they made packing mistakes for sure. Been interesting. I don't mind. I'll take an extra sandwich any day. Well, I guess it's not extra. I'll take a sandwich over a pouch of tuna any day. Because the tuna they throw in there is usually just a pouch of Star-Kissed, and it just doesn't feel the same. Just doesn't feel the same to eating something you could just buy in the grocery store when it comes out of an MRE. I mean, I guess it's different with the candy a little bit, but anyway, hey Kaylynn, welcome to the stream. Um, yeah, this and that with Matt. Matt saying use the gum to stay awake driving for band gigs. That gum is one of the better things that uh, I've used to do long haul driving. You chew it up, you get it totally gum like, and then you kind of stuff it into your cheek and let it just burn and hang out there like nicotine gum. And, it has that transdermal absorption kind of thing going on, and yeah, you stay awake and you don't get crazy jitters from it. I mean, maybe I'm alone there, but I don't feel like I get jitters from the caffeine gum. But it does taste kind of terrible once you've chewed out all the sweeteners. So just kind of leave it in there, bitter and weird, but it's strong. I'll usually put 2 pieces in, if I'm doing a drive, and then re-up every like 2 or 3 hours. I know it does say like if you're a civilian, only eat 5 pieces within 24 hours. If you're military, don't exceed 10. But it's not like you see that warning on a cup of coffee. All right, speaking of a cup of coffee, I'm gonna make a quick one to get started, and then I'm gonna bring up the website and we'll dive in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the coffee cup on this. Just gonna get a nice heavy spoon. It's boiling water. Good. Save the rest of the water for the tea around dinner time, which will be good because I'm going to need to stay awake for a good chunk of the rest of tonight. All right. So here we go. Got the coffee ready. And I'll leave that there. Cool down just a little. Hey, Chew, welcome to the stream. Good to have you. Selling Ameriqual chicken in a pouch at the Dollar Tree under some off-brand name. For $1? Buy that. The white chicken chunks, or the flavored chicken. The garlic and herb chicken breast pulls apart so nice, and the barbecue chicken breast pulls apart really nice. I love those. The white chicken chunks, they're good. It's not quite as good. And you mix in the barbecue sauce, so you end up with barbecue chicken anyway. Which was weird. My last one came with a barbecue sauce and a cheese, so I went ahead and I dumped the cheese in there too and made cheesy barbecue chicken. Don't think I'll do it again, but it wasn't that bad. $1.35 at the Dollar Tree. Hey, I can say the full name. I thought it was you that said call you Chew. But yeah, Chew suck. I don't know. But either way, good to have you among the stream here. Black coffee is good coffee. Nothing wrong with black coffee. I'm a fan of light and sweet, but I drink about as much either way. If I'm at home, if I'm making coffee in the Keurig, I've got like the pump for the sweetener. But up here, I tend to just drink it black because I kind of want to, I want to taste the coffee more when I'm trying something, overseas or from a ration. I don't necessarily want to taste, the Coffee Mate generic sweetener that I've got. Mix the chicken chunks into a spinach fettuccine. Oh, that's a good idea. And the spinach fettuccine, I stand by it. It's a good ration if you get it hot enough, and maybe add a little salt. It's great with the hot sauce, but I don't know, maybe $1 price, but the Dollar Tree ain't going anywhere. The Dollar Tree is one of the most prolific um, franchises in the country. There's more Dollar Trees than just about any other thing. Like there's I want to say there's more Dollar Trees than there are McDonald's in the US, something ridiculous like that. Like they're, as a brand, doing very well, spread out very far. All right, getting a little sidetracked. Let's see, get this open. Yeah, Dollar Trees everywhere. Some towns have like 3. I haven't been in one in a little while. Actually, no, I was in one last fall buying stupid amounts of Halloween candy for, very much less than, any of the other stores in town. But it was still the same stuff, it was Snickers and Crunch Bars and all that stuff. One thing I think that's nice about the site is that these these little examples on the main page are randomized. So, if we look at what we got right now, we got a nice mix of things, but if we refresh the page, we get a totally different mix of things, which I think is nice. Because everybody, anybody coming to the site always has like just a kind of random chunk thrown at them of things that, they can look at. What we're going to be doing to the subjects page. So I see here we got top subjects and the ability to select in a range. I'm going to see if I can get something like that. I'm going to see if I can get something like that set up for the actual subjects page. Because right now, this page is pretty unusable, like we saw last week. It's very small font because it's just tracking too many words now. So we'll break it up into segments of like the most common, the next most common, etc. on down. Oh God, I can't imagine the aftermath of a month in the heat in a Dollar Tree. Going to be a lot of melted out of season candy, swollen packs of stuff. All right, so I'm going to take a gander at the code for this. All right, we'll do, see, we're going to be working right on the collection site. So home collection site, take a look at what's in there. So I think what I need might be in layouts. Let's see if it's in layouts or includes. So we've got, I think these are just generic. Open up a couple. So we've got the timeline in here, and we've got a generic page, but I don't see a subjects page. I see data, default, cloud. Cloud is probably it. So let me take a look at cloud. And we'll see what we got here. So this same page, the same structure is being used to run the subjects page and the locations page. So if I make edits to this, it's going to affect both of those. Its about page is generic to the software, so I do have to get rid of that. Map might be turning off for a little bit, so let's see. Spicy saying, learned about these stores from watching a Pokemon card channel on YouTube. Was that because they're kind of like a dumping point for overstock on cards and stuff? Because I know that sometimes you can go to the store like that and find crazy deals. You know, go buy a whole box of packs for, you know, fraction of what they should cost in the open market, you know, or whatever. But there's some trade ability there. Yeah, I would. Yeah, going in to buy Pokemon cards, that makes some sense. You know, find the overstock blocks and buy them out. You know, keep them, resell them. You know, look for rares, whatever you happen to do. I've still got my Pokemon cards that I got in a trade in 1999 or 2000. They were basically unplayed. I didn't play Pokemon. I never did. So I put them away and found them late last year and need to sell them. You know, so at some point I need to sell those. Like there's a second printing holographic foil Charizard in there. That one I know is worth something. Probably, I mean, there's ones that are worth thousands and thousands, but that one's probably worth a couple $100. And a couple $100 right now would really help. You know, anything. So at some point I do need to sell those cards. So, all right, I'm rambling. So let's look at this. We got, let's pop the size up here. So we're looking at, this layout is going to be used by call to build out these pages, and it's going to check and see what it's being passed. So I may not need to do much with this, if anything. Actually, these are all comments. So never mind, this is just explaining what's going on. The only part of this that is, actually, no, with a dash, it's a comment. Sorry, I'm still new to handlebars. So I think with this dash, you know, this hyphen, it's a comment, and without, it's not. So this is just loading in the structure from somewhere else. So let's take a look at that somewhere else. These are all just little pieces of how the site works. Walmart got so bad they close early and have 2 deputies on duty plus another security company. Ooh, ouch. Hey, we got Xenosaga. Welcome. Good to have you. Hope you've been doing good. You know, not everybody, you know, can jump in and chat. Sometimes you just gotta lurk. Sometimes it just doesn't work out timing wise. So no worries. Good to have you. All right, so we are looking at probably cloud in here. term cloud includes this adds a word cloud feature based on one or more metadata fields. Cloud will work best with multi-value controlled vocab fields such as subject. So we can say include feature cloud field subject creator min2. All right, so can we pass a max? We see fields min minimum number of elements. The term must appear in order to be displayed. Okay, so that we can say get rid of anything that's only in there 5 times, which might be most of these things. And then have another page that goes a little further. Shuffle, stop, background, button. So it doesn't look like we have a max, but how does the home page work? Because the home page has top ration subjects, or top subjects, and it only has 5 terms in it. But it's still running the cloud function. Let's see if we've got something for the home. See, we've got collection banner, navigation, downloads, footer, item, index. Let's see, index. Carousel, data download, description, featured terms, objects, time. Okay, so these are pieces of the home page. Description just loads up the description block. Yeah, so that's just going to load up the About Us link and read from a metadata file that controls the description. Featured terms might be what we're looking for how the home page works. This has a max. Field featured title, header, max, button color. So on the home page over here, this is being used to produce the top subjects and the locations, probably objects and timeline. And for subjects, for instance, it's being passed a max of 5 and a color for the buttons, which actually might make that a little easier to read. But it's interesting that it uses things a different way than the rest of the cloud. So it's not making a weighted cloud. Was Xenosaga PS2 or was that Super Nintendo? Can't remember. All right, so these are different things. All right, so let's back out of this. This might still be useful. Footer and foot is weird that they both exist. Not sure why that's there. All right. We're going to take a look at what's in the... So we looked at layouts. We looked at includes. Now we're going to go to pages. Whoop. Oh, biscuits. All right, so these are all listed out as README files, which is interesting. So let's take a look at index and see what the structure of this comes out as. Layout, home infographic, permalink slash. We saw that home infographic over in layouts. So this is gonna, okay, so this makes sense. So this is saying use that layout file, which is, oops, sorry, which is going to include the description and then the carousel in the first column of the site. And then a second column is going to include the time, the featured items, featured terms for the locations, the top subjects, the top locations, and a section covering what types of objects we have in here. So right now we have objects is saying images. I want it to be saying rations or collection pieces or something to that effect. And then under that, we've got a site-wide column that has the collection data download section. So I'm getting a feel for how these pages are structured so that we can figure out how to update the cloud page subjects. All right, so I'm going to open that, subjects. Subjects uses, oh, giant pink bar. Interesting. So subjects uses the cloud layout. I think I have this open twice. No, this is something else. All right, so the cloud layout looks a little different than what we're looking at for the index. The index is saying use the page layout. So is this. But then this has a block that just says content. So I think that means that's what's going to produce the header portion of the page. All right, so this may all be controlled with data files. So let's look at the config here. Browse, map, metadata, nav, search, table, theme, test. Browse matches up with browse, map matches up with map. Metadata matches up with the data page, search with the search page. Let's try theme. That might be where this lives. Subjects and creator are being used for the subject page as opposed to just subjects. So let's take a look at what are we being used here. So subjects is including the maker and everything in this subject column, as opposed to just the subject column, which isn't exactly what I want. So I could technically reduce what it's got by dropping creator. And maybe make a different page just for that. And right now it's saying it has to be in there one time. Let's go ahead and turn that to 5. So we can pass words that don't show up. So that's nice. So I can say unknown. I don't really care to see that one in there over and over and over. It is capitalized, so let's go ahead and capitalize it. Unknown, not a useful subject to see. Gigantic, you know. So we can mess with a lot in here. I still haven't messed with adding an entire type of page. Don't think I'll be able to get to that in the next 20 minutes here, but let's see. So Xenosaga was a PS2 game. Got it. Xenoblade, Xenogears. Yeah, yeah, there were some good games if I recall. Is it bad when a chocolate chip cookie tastes like a peanut butter cookie? Yeah, I would consider that a little bad. I don't know what would do that. That sounds a little wonky. So far, I'm seeing exactly the same chats down there in the chat bar as I am in a separate window over here. So this week it seems okay. Oh shoot! I just realized I'm on my VPN. I didn't mean to be. So that's again doing the VPN thing is probably screwing stuff up. We'll see. Yeah, it's possible that that's causing some issues, but hopefully not. seems like we're getting transmission at great rate. We have no dropped frames, so I'll consider it good. Might be slowing it down a little. Oh, I haven't been checking email. I did notice right before the stream that I've got an email from you, Kaylynn, and an email from you, MFOs. So I will catch up on those. Although from the title, Kaylynn, if you're just saying it's one of those brown spoons with kind of like the 3-ridge base, like at the end of the holder, I definitely have those. But yeah, I'll take a look at the email and see what's what. I appreciate you looking out. So yeah, it might be something we don't have covered. All right, so metadata creator I'll leave in for now, but we'll drop that down to unknown. We'll add 5, we'll take that out. All right, so then I'm going to save this and I'm going to run the deployment script, which actually I need to see what I'm doing there. There is a way to do it incrementally instead of full process everything every time approach. Yeah, here we go. Incremental build disabled, enable with -- incremental. Honestly, I can crash this and try again. Doesn't love it when I manually crash the program in the middle of trying to run, but it should be fine. So I'll try rake deploy incremental. It shouldn't have to reprocess. Oh, okay. Invalid. Well, incremental build disabled, enable with incremental. Maybe take the dashes out. Build disabled, enable with incremental. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. There may be a way to shorten this, because this is going to take probably 3 minutes or so. And then we'll see what effect we have had on the subjects page. Subjects is going to use a cloud. So let's look at the navigation. See, I don't need description. I don't need home. Index. Featured terms. All right. Oh, I guess I can't look at the navigation while this is running because I didn't think to open it up as a multi-terminal kind of setup. But this should only take a little bit. While that's running, we can get a jump on looking at what's in this package. So this is all out of this Kazakh ration. You know, we've got text throughout in Kazakh and Russian. Obviously no English on this one, other than the tea bag, I believe, was the only thing that had some English on it. So we've got another plastic wrapped meal segment. This one had some jam on the outside, but not on the inside, so we should be fine. I mean, it's just jam either way. Get all these items out here. So we got 2 main cans. This one is, my assumption on this was borscht. And what I love about it is this can, actually specifically carrying the logo of what I believe is the name of the ration itself, or the military itself. We'll do some translating and see what comes back. And then we've got another green can, but this time we've got what I believe is going to be Tashanka. So we're going to translate this, see what we get. And I'm just assuming this is going to be a hearty beef stew with a lot of fat. And then this is going to be a beet soup. Yep, that's borscht, says Kaylynn. Thank you. So we've got those. We've got our 3 packets of sugar for super, super sweet tea. Got our packet of select quality beta tea. Which is just a really nice black tea. So we'll get that going with all 3 sugars like last time, just to make it ridiculous. Because, you know, hey, they're the ones that included them. It's just, that is so much sugar. But, you know, add some calories. Site is still building, so would love to figure out how to do the shortened version of this now that the site's so big. So I'll have to work on that. All right, gonna pour in our hot water. Give it a bit of a stir. Melt that sugar into it. There was a bit of a syrup almost at the bottom of it last time around, so try and get that more dissolved this time. Well, hey, good to have you here, Zeno. You have a great rest of your Monday, and we'll see you again. Just as extras for this meal, I grabbed a HDR kit. So we got a napkin and a wet nap and this spoon that I've already been using. And just gonna leave it at that. Just so, you know, I have something to keep my hands clean while we work through this. Site is still generating, so let's keep on going here. The last time I kind of glossed over it a little, but this time I'll highlight it. The crackers are held in by this sort of band that goes around them, which I thought was neat. It goes right under the seam, so maybe helps protect, you know, at the weaker point. I'm not sure exactly what its purpose is. We've got a nice heap of these kind of hardtack biscuits. All right, the site is done building. So we're going to jump down and refresh this subject page. And now that it's requiring something be there 5 or more times, we should see this reduce if it worked. Otherwise, I got to go back to the drawing board on it. Okay, so this definitely got better. There's a lot less on there. Everything's a little bit more readable, but could probably even go further. You know, and make it something has to be on there 10 or more times, something like that. But right now we're starting to see a little bit more readable, but like, you know, for the sake of us seeing what's going on, I have to zoom in quite a bit, you know. at 175% right now, just to make these mostly readable. But we're seeing some bigger terms throughout. We got food packet long range patrol, a lot of those. We've got Civil Defense Administration, Civil Defense. We've got astronaut food. So we're reducing the complexity of this page, but not by quite enough just yet. I'm still going to have to work on that, I think. So going back over to the food side. But, you know, we're getting really close on being done with the collection site pre-launch. I just need to clean up a couple more things this week. And before we reconvene a week from now, I'll be launching it. So saying that out loud makes me commit to it. You know, there we go. Should be able to get these little tweaks that I need done out of the way. You know, in terms of like color and structure and getting rid of some extra buttons and that kind of stuff, so that it feels clean. You know, before we start having Google and everybody else, you know, look at the site. All right, so let me just tilt this a little bit more for right now. All right, so we've got the entree and we've got the soup. We're gonna start cooking the entree. This time I'm gonna tear the label off just so we don't have any chance that it's gonna catch on fire while it's cooking. Unless it's glued all the way around, in which case that might be, you know, wishful thinking that we can get rid of it. I'm just gonna go right through there. That came off perfectly. Interesting. There's a little hunk of something under the label there. That could be can leakage, or that could be just you know, some material splashed on the can. There's absolutely no bulging to this. It was made, I'm assuming, with international date format, not with American style. So this would be August 5th, not May 8th, 2019. So yeah, 3 years, just shy of 3 years old. And then the other part of taking this label off like that is it should be a little easier to translate with it flat, because I can put it down flat and use the translate software rather than, you know, hold and tilt this can, you know. So gold can to Shawker, we'll start cooking that right now, because that's going to take a little while. It's going to finish up the last of this coffee. Thanks again, Yossi, for that one. All right. For cooking, I don't want the camera directly above this. I want it a little bit further. So we've got a collection of razor blades shaped like a stove and a packet of fuel. Smells like fish, but does its job. We'll get the excess flame coming out the sides that way this time. And let's see about width. Yeah, that's about as far as I really want it. We're going to put can directly over it this time. Get the can prepared. Just going to pop the top off. And we see the fat block in there in the back. This one's got a little more of a gap between the top and the lid, so I don't think will be too bad. I'm going to go ahead and spoon out just a couple spoonfuls of this broth into the tray where it's all going to get dumped. Broth will heat right back up at that point, just so we have less of a boil over chance. All right, so got that a little lower. Now let's get this fire going. Ooh, threw a good spark at me. No cuts today, and you guys can see the last one healed up okay. So, ooh, just burned myself with this. And I'm not going to leave the wooden match in there this time, in case that had something to do with the burn off last time, which was, I think, what Kaylynn called out as potentially happening there. So, stove is nice and centered. The pellet is burning pretty evenly. I'm just going to let it get started. And one was more than enough to cook the entire entree last time, so hopefully we'll get enough to cook this one to bubbling, and then a little excess to cook the soup as well. So speaking of the soup, we're gonna cut this label off this as well and do some quick translating. There's a dent in this one, but well, it is a little tiny bit of bubble. I'm not too worried. Put this to the side. All right, so let's do a little translating here. Hey, Rock or something. Good to have you. All right, so we're going to go with Kazakh to English, and we're going to try the live translation this time, but we may need to go the route of taking a picture first. Hey! It worked for a second. There we go. Borscht with beef. So there's some beef in there. Well, that's really interesting. I'm very interested to see how. I've never had borscht with beef in it. We see here canned vegetable and meat, sterilized, beef borscht. Or borscht, I guess. Boppy with beef. Yeah, for a little bit there. Boat boy. Bop. I mean, that might be how it's. There we go. And what does it say up here? We'll give it a second. All right, we got Porvomoysky Canning Factory is what we can see at the top there. Try and let that. There we go. Trying to get it so that you guys can see the smaller text on it. There we go. Porvomoysky Canning Factory. How crazy is it that, this tech is just available for us to use? Just looking at something in real time. Like if you're in another country now, you can just pull out your phone and hold up, look at a sign, to read a menu, to whatever, and have a pretty solid idea of what it's going to say. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I would have said you're going to get gibberish. But these days, more often than not, you get good, clean text that makes sense. So here we go. We've got beef. I did see it say Tashanka for Shania. Yeah. So we got beef stew. It is taking a little bit of time to try and understand it. From the Pervomaisky canning factory. Whereas this is the Kazakh. And I was just looking at the Russian side. To be drowned. Okay. Let me try and flatten this out. See, this is why we're trying to avoid too much of a curve on this stuff. It's not breaded, it's stewed. It's thinking hard there. It keeps baked, stewed, breaded. It's not quite certain how to translate that first word, but I think we can agree it's supposed to be stewed. Stewed beef. So there we go. You know, this is the meal here. We've got our borscht and our beef Tashanka. Definitely not horse this time. All right, so over here we've got the soup boiling pretty nice. We got a little bit of a fire coming out the side there. Oop, there we go. I'll grab this bowl for the soup in a minute. All right, let's try this tea. Oh, MFO's saying, sent a picture of my own Kazakh ration last week by email. It looked a little bit different from the outside. It's a long bag in 3 different parts. Probably the same content. So I have had those. Those I thought were a chunk older if it's green. Let me look at your email. Oh, you got a nice production setup there. Oh, that is neat. All right, grabbing just the. Yep. Okay. This is a little different than the one I saw like this before, but pretty similar. So yeah, these tear apart, right? These have like perforated lines so you can rip each chunk of the meal off. I would look for a date stamp on the bottom of these. The last I saw this style was like 2014, 2015, but that doesn't mean anything. I have absolutely no frame of reference for like, you know, how common that is or isn't. Because I've only ever seen maybe 4 Kazakh rations. And that does kind of remind me of the Ukrainian style that used to be the case before the single bag Ukrainian ones. All right, so we got very, very much boiling, ready to go. I'm not going to use this little napkin. I'm going to get something a little heavier to pick that up. All right, we're going to transfer that over to the tray and then get the borscht going. So let me get that prepped. Just going to do the same thing here. Take a little bit out, put it in the bowl. Don't get cut. Don't get cut. Okay. We've got a nice little gap there, but as you can see, once it really gets boiling, like, you know, you are in danger of exceeding your tolerance there for boil over pretty easily. Now, if you're outside, who cares, right? But in my office, I do care a little bit. So I'm just going to get, a nice gap there at the top. And then I'm going to take this ultra hot can, grab it on both sides with some paper towel, dump that out. So that is definitely a soup more than, an entree. Oh, interesting. So it's like one big chunk. All right, now we're gonna get the borscht with meat going. Put these to the side here, and we take a quick look at the Shawker. So we've got a yellow broth. It's probably tinted that way just from fat, etc. You can see we've got sizable chunks of bristly kind of fat, potentially some cartilage, but that it's not formed or processed, that it's, big chunks of stew meat. So that's looking nice, steaming away there. And because it's a soup, it did not burn. They heat a lot more evenly than the the groats kind of breakfast. Ooh, that's good. That's good. So just gonna take a quick sample of this. I've said it before. I love like Russian style food. This whole ration could be a Russian ration in terms of the types of entrees inside it. It's a little light on overall like quantity of items, but I'm sure calories wise, it's in a pretty good range. We've got really nothing in the way of sweets. Excuse me. Something just flew down my throat. They've got nothing in the way of sweets to go along in this ration. The jam would be the closest thing, but there was no jam in this. I'm gonna sink a couple crackers in here. It's probably futile, but we'll just go ahead and kind of weigh them down, see if we can soften any up. Yeah, just kind of weigh those down, and then we'll check back in on the borscht over here. Borscht, whatever. Yeah, it's starting to bubble. It's probably going to burn because it's a little thicker. And it looks like there may be more matter in here. It's definitely a lot of what looks like onion. So that's still fairly cool. Oh, it's got almost a spice to it. Did it come with pepper? It did not. I do have right here, though. I do have a pack of pepper. So could try a little pepper on this. I'll just sprinkle some on part of it. I know it doesn't need salt. I will say that. It does not need salt. Look, we're down to the bottom of the fuel pellet, and it's definitely burning a little slower. So that might have an effect on how hot this gets, or that will have an effect on how hot this gets. Here's a chunk of tushonka that's been peppered. Let me see if I can find it, but I'm always reminded of a specific ad every time I eat something like this. Ooh, a little bit more of a burn. Expiration is 2023. Okay, so yours is newer than mine. Good deal newer than mine. Mine's 2019. Yours is probably a 2021 or a 2022 with that date. Let's see. So I'm looking for museum collection, advertisements. Oh yeah, that's out of flame. How we got hot, but we definitely didn't get boiling. Show you guys what I'm looking at. I'm trying to find a particular ad. Soldiers sitting around enjoying Russian rations in World War II. We were allies at the end of the war. I think this might be it. Yeah, Russian soldiers eating American rations. I love this one. So, it's Vinya Tushonka, made in the USA. So, they're sitting there enjoying, cans of Russian style food, brought to you by the General American Transportation Corporation of Chicago. Let's see, beef. The Russian army wanted 1 million pounds of Svinya Tushonka, which included pork, lard, suet, pepper, onions, with a bay leaf in each can. Packers had never heard of CT before, but American industry came through, as always, and on time. Vast quantities of meat sent to our allies, beefsteak streamlined by boning, dehydrating, and compressing, saving 9/10 of former shipping space. Concentrated meat developed for the Army K ration, every American soldier given an average of 1 pound of meat per day. Americans' families adequately supplied. And then at the end it says, for several decades, General American Transportation has furnished stock cars, refrigerator cars, and tank cars for the meat industry. A working teammate of this vital industry, General American Transportation helps speed America's quality meats to dinner tables and mess tables around the world. So I always like this particular ad with, the whole Soviet hat, the star belt buckle, all that stuff. 1 million pounds of tushonka. You need 3 pounds of meat per day, says Spicy. And I'm checking this other chat. This one still has everything. It looks like they pretty much ended up the same. I don't know that I'm gonna need this whole bowl for this. Yeah, that's hot, but not impossibly hot. I can dump this right out in the tray. No big deal. Push this stove out of the way. Raise this up. Yeah, it's steaming. It should be hot enough. So let's see if these hardtacks softened at all. Ooh, there's a little give to them. Just gonna get one. Yeah, it's definitely expanded a little. Thank you, Kaylynn. I am definitely apt to do that. Keep things on the wrong screen when I've got so many different screens going on. So we can see the borscht with some big chunks of vegetables and a lot of stewed meat. Take a closer look here. Oh, it's almost sweet. A little peppery. Nice taste of onions. Lots of fat. Lots of oil. I'm going to put a few more of these in there. That turned out very nice. Weigh them down. Now, it's a little strange tasting. It has a little bit of an aftertaste I'm not quite used to. Let me see if I can chop through one of these crackers. Oh man. These are excellent once they've soaked up some of this broth. Mmm. It's a whole different ball game with the cracker softened. It's got a chewiness to it instead of, a heavy crunch. I'm going to try and do the same underneath the vegetables and beef here. It's a lot less liquid, so I'm expecting less of a result there. But we'll see. See how that goes. Definitely going to try and slip a few more crackers in here while it's still hot. It's funny, these first ones fit side by side just fine, but as they absorb more, you can't get them in there side by side. So I guess that means this one's starting to soak in quite a bit. All you got is canned Campbell chunky beef stew. I think nothing wrong with canned Campbell's chunky beef stew. Pretty darn American. Campbell Soup Company owns a surprising number of businesses. I was formerly an employee of a subsidiary of the Campbell Soup Company, Godiva Chocolate. I think that's a big chunk of potato on there. And when I worked for Godiva, they make it, they make you aware that you have access to discounts across the family, So I didn't really ever get to use them, but technically had discounted access to Dryers, Breyers, Seagrams, Schwann's, all kinds of random stuff. Godiva is good chocolate. Belgian style chocolate is pretty darn nice. I used to have this whole spiel about what made it different, but I don't remember all of the spiel. Some about the temperature it's cooked at and the ingredients and blah 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 blah. There was a North American Godiva, a European Godiva, and I think that might be it. But they were definitely separate. People would call all the time wondering if we used free trade cocoa or not. So I had to answer that one a lot. That last one did not absorb anything prior to the attempt to eat it. See, this one down here is still pretty stiff. And you can see onions and carrots. Yeah, this is this is a great meal. I'm a big fan of this kind of food. Just, definitely tastes a little better in the winter. When you're freezing. But that said, I mean, like, granted, if I was outside and it was, 100 degrees, I don't know how happy I would be to cook this up. Oh, I'm just gonna eat this whole thing. Cook this up, and have a hot soup, and there isn't really a different summer ration, but still quite tasty, I'm sure, even in the heat. Yeah, I mean, at 100 something degrees, you could just put the can outside for an hour and come back, and it'll be, liquid enough to eat. Wouldn't even need to heat it up. Sometimes at Burning Man, I just leave a can on, like the hood of a car or just inside on the dashboard. If you really want to bake it, and consider that good enough for cooking a meal. And oh man, it's so much better once the crackers expand. Just gonna try and get them drowned in it. Oh, spilling a little bit, but crumbs and stuff. I think the cooking went a lot better this time. Didn't have any horribly blackened cans, and no burned labels and no burned contents. Like the bottom of the bottom of the borscht has some burning, just a little bit. Look at all those onion bits. It's almost like a French onion soup with how much onion there is in here. There's these like spikes of very strong flavor I'm not quite familiar with. Could just be the beef. I mean, or the beets. And oh man, they do indeed love their onions, because that's like 50% of what makes this one up. All right, let's see if this absorbed anything at the bottom of here for a couple minutes. Ooh, it does at least break up a little easier. Didn't soak in quite as much, but still got a good chunk. Oh geez, hey kitty. Oh. Down you go. Don't look at me like that. You almost knocked all kinds of stuff over when you jumped up. Just realized I ended up in a different category this time over on Twitch, but that's okay. Definitely absorbs better while it's hot. So as it cools down, the crackers don't want to soak in as much. That was my first bite where the meat actually tasted a little bit cold. So better hurry up. So I can see why they didn't put jam in this one. You really can use up the crackers with, with this. In fact, we're almost through them. There's only 2 left up here. Gonna try and get a sizable portion of the remainder of the vegetable and beef stew on here. I'm noticing kind of a, for lack of a better word, kind of a slime trail once in a while, which generally is a sign of, food starting to go bad. So I'm a little concerned, but there's other reasons it could be there. Like I said last week, 3 years. 3 years is pushing it a little bit for any Russian style canned ration. You know, ours tend to last, 10 plus years, but we're the exception. There's a lot of European rations that have just off the shelf goods in, flimsy, thin plastic that, it's not doing anything to prevent oxygen from getting to the actual like candy bars or, crackers or rye bread or whatever it happens to be. So that stuff doesn't last. Whereas, like, a US MCI or RCI can that's got cookies in it, these cookies are going to taste basically brand new, even 70 years later, oh, 50, 60 years later. Look at this. It is congealing quite a bit into you know a bit more into just the fat again. It's great to think, that's what I'm putting inside myself. Okay, so this is what I mean. See that kind of hanging there? That sort of thing worries me a little bit sometimes. But unless, no, okay. I was thinking maybe it was a cat hair or something, but it's not. But yeah, you can see the fat really just turning white as the temperature drops, and it's sticking to the spoon even after I'm eating it because it's really just congealing back into that fat pad that we saw sitting in the can. Fat string, yeah, I guess. Hmm. It's getting a little mealy, a little harder to eat the half congealed fat. All right, just a little bit more of this over here. Just combine the two. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. So far, I have not successfully eaten a canned foreign ration like this without spilling something on myself at some point. Got a few little dribbles. There's just so much liquid, Glad I grabbed this wet nap. All right, finish off the tea and then one more ration down. All right, we still got some time. We can take a look back at the website. So let me swap back around. Let's see, not going to need this guy. I do definitely feel a good deal warmer now than when I started, so thank God there's a bit of an air condition. I mean, the air conditioner's doing a bit of a okay job keeping it cool in here. It's not succeeding entirely against the against the elements out there, but it's doing well enough. Yeah, I'll do it. All right, so that all that leaves is the other can of Groat's breakfast. So, sorry, just trying to separate the remnants of that pellet from this razor sharp stove. Being careful. All right. Brought up a spare potential snack, but I'm gonna hold off on it. I'm pretty darn full, so I don't think I need it. Save it for a future one. All right, while we're in among the ads, can take a little bit of a peek through them. This is my favorite series of ads, the Victory Vitamin C ads. They pull no punches. You know. Excuse me. Because bomber crews must have Victory Vitamin C, maybe your canned Florida grapefruit juice is over Nazi rooftops tonight. You know, I just I love these ads. You know, and I think we got some good scans. Like you can get in pretty detailed. Yeah, Florida grapefruit juice was the you know the brand on all these Victory Vitamin C ads. Oh, no, I don't need to throw a comment on that. These are the days that to make certain you are armed with Victory Vitamin C. So this looks like dropping in cases of RCIs or C rations. Let's see. Even in the tangled wilds of remotest Asia, where secret roads creep closer every day to Tokyo, our men must be armed with vitamin C. And so, among those rations, jungle knives and rifles parachuted from the skies are cans of Florida grapefruit juice, rich sources of vitamin C that never fail. That was this text. Not trying to do that. There we go. Interesting combination of island culture going on in this one. I can't imagine having like one case of rations per parachute, but maybe they did it that way at one point. Nowadays, they make the rations so you can just toss them out of a plane, you know, and they may burst at on ground impact, but everything in them should be fine. Yeah, they put so much effort into the artwork, Spicy. It's just, yeah, it's just great. Almost everything was a Rockwell painting style, you know. Huskier, happier, healthier. Or flip some of the order on that. Crosley. So Crosley made radios mainly. I wonder what they were making specifically. It says today Crosley facilities are completely devoted to war, but someday when American lives are safe again, Crosley will reconvert to peace to serve your home again with Crosley radios, radio phonographs, Crosley refrigerators with patented Shelvador and other fine household appliances. Oh, there's no like radios highlighted in here. Well, I'm sure that Crosley was probably making radios at the time. With this ad being focused on food, makes me wonder if they were canning or producing food. Split pea soup, for 600 people in a block like that. Cooking out of the back of a truck. Is that an M31A2? Or wait, no, M32 deuce and a half. Is that a deuce and a half? Might be. But it looks like the kitchen is set up to be on the go there. They've got mounted stoves and pots, and the chefs are hard at work inside the truck, so that's neat. The American Meat Institute of Chicago approves this message. This is highlighting that the 5-in-1s were able to just be ditched from a ship with the hope that the tide will bring them in, so that you don't have to drop anchor and transfer to an island. So an island that was being held in the Pacific towards the end of the war could be supplied on the go by a passing battleship or flotilla. So each of the containers is, it's wood on the outside, banded, and then the inner box is dipped in wax, and then the inner boxes were regular cardboard, but that wax layer should keep them dry. I don't know. I haven't really read much in the way of like how that worked out in the long run. Because you got to think like there were definitely paper pouched goods in the 5-in-1s and the 10-in-1s and the RCIs, namely like cigarettes and whatnot, that would be in a manila style. They'd be like foil lined on the inside sometimes with that kind of purplish foil, but paper envelope with just a air barrier, but not airtight. So you'd think if water got in, the things that would get ruined first would be like the coffee and cigarettes and stuff, which would be something you wouldn't really want to risk wrecking. James says he had to stay at a base or stayed at a base that had a place to watch all those old movies and videos. Those are just fun, Dateline, 1942. Truman inspects the troops. Look out, Lady Truman. You know, they're sorry, I got a kitty again. Yeah, they're just fantastic. I've got a lot of good wartime newsreels, but there's surprisingly few that I've found that are specific to rations. So I'm always on the lookout for more ration related ones. Excuse me. I've got just this little like tickle in my throat, I think from whatever I inhaled before I even started eating. But no hint of rancidity, no hint of weird aftertaste or bitterness. Everything's good there. These are interesting. These pouch, like I'd love to find one of these airdrop duffels, if any exist. I always got to wonder what was in them, in terms of the way they dropped. Like, would those have been B rations? Would those have been, uh, would that have been like for a field kitchen, with a number of different like larger bulk items, inside, or would they be, a bunch of cases, the rounded style? But I mean, you can see where they hit the ground down here. They don't look small. They look to be the size of like two men laying side by side in terms of like the bulk of these things, which could have quite a bit in it. Yeah, so a good amount of the meat was being packed by Purina dog food and milk and eggs. Yeah, these duffel rations I've only seen drawn pictures. I've never seen a photograph of them. And they're huge, which makes me think that they would be whole field kitchen supplies, like big number 10 cans. Excuse me, number 10 cans of meat and vegetables and stuff, um, meant for breaking out and making a meal for 30 people instead of just rations. So these are, it says, wooden cases of dehydrated vegetables. And this is this Crosley again? Yeah. So, I mean, they're talking about cans of dehydrated vegetables. They must have been doing canning. Okay. So, yeah, they were producing food. Twice as much food to the fighting front. Twice as much food to the fighting fronts this year because there are twice as many men to feed. Even at that, we civilians here at home are still getting 3 out of every 4 plates of food we produce, and the men in our armed forces are the best fed fighters in the world. So, yeah, they were definitely making and packing food during the war, as opposed to just making radios and refrigerators and stuff, which very interesting how companies had to pivot. I believe they still made radios at the time for the war effort. Yeah, right? Look at that fridge. Labels out. We got our actually, is that a P? Is that Pepsi Cola in a Coca-Cola style writing at the time? That might be Pepsi Cola. And these bottles, I don't know, maybe Moxie? Got some cans of probably Schlitz or something up there. Some kind of salad in the middle here that's probably like, mayonnaise and chopped tomato salad. Like people love that kind of stuff in the 50s and 40s. Like we've had some fun reading over the Army Salads book from the from World War II era or late 50s or something, where everything has some amount of lettuce, no matter what kind of salad it is, and half of them have like gelatin and random other stuff that just doesn't make any sense. But every now and then it's fun. You see people that just say, "Okay, I'm going to make a 1950s dinner party food lineup," and they have like clear gelatin with chunks of hot dog suspended in it. Like, okay, yeah, that might be ambrosia. And we got cans of peaches or pickled onions or something. We've got a pretty stuffed looking fridge. Campbell Soup Company, they made C ration entrees. Here we go. U.S. Army Field Ration C. The M1 units. Let's see. Unit M1. That says Unit M3. M1, M2, M3. Interesting. It's probably meat and beans on the left here. Meat and vegetable hash. Meat and vegetable stew. Cellophane. The DuPont Cellophane Company. We used to have these dextrose tablets, and the first time I've encountered those in the modern era was in that Hungarian ration that I had a month or so ago. Just had a big block of dextrose, I mean, a big bag of dextrose tablets, like a good 50, 60 tablets that are just compressed dextrose, so basically just sugar. Um, but yeah, you can see some brand new looking, items, World War II era items. We got the larger style D ration. We got the biscuits that would be in a K ration. Little pack of cigarettes that looks like a 4-pack by the width. Lemon juice powder. I do want to try one of those someday. I don't have many, so I think I only have two, and they're not in good shape. I have one of these that was dug from the beach at I want to say it was Omaha Beach was where one of those came from. Um, I have a couple little bits from I want to say from Bastogne and from Omaha and from I mean Bastogne Inland and Omaha Beach and maybe no, I think that's it. I think just Omaha Beach in terms of dug items from over there. I have part of a spoon, a couple packets like that, and I've got a K ration can lid, accessory packet can lid, probably the bottom piece, or not K ration if it's the accessory packet can, but either a olive drab can from a band removal kind of uh, key opened can, not can opener open can from a foxhole that was definitely Easy Company. So that's the only actual Easy Company item I've got. Here we see these little block stoves, the hot box, you know, wax, wax and sawdust stoves um, that got replaced by the sterno stoves and the little wood alcohol stoves. See, do I have in the collection? Actually, I can check metadata. Not a lot that says wax, so let's see what we got. I don't think I have any of the big ones. So let's check box 80. But there was a smaller variety that I do have. Yeah, okay. So this is the 1/3 size of what we were just looking at there. So this one, you would fire that up and it would cook your beverage and your entree all the way through, whereas each of these smaller ones could cook one item all the way through. So you could potentially get 3 items out of the bigger blocks, which were just this same amount, just in a cube. Whereas this, they've got these perforations, and you can actually snap the boxes off at that point. So you could snap off all 3 and stack them and use it just like you would before, or you could snap off just one. Pet ration with a pedigree. I assume you're talking about the Purina that we were looking at, the dog food branded rations. Spicy saying, I wonder if the lemon juice powder is similar to True Lemon powder packets. Yeah, that would be interesting to compare. Um, you know, you could use your sugar and you could make a lemonade out of it, but you could also technically use it as a topping. Lime, seems to fit a little better. You can put lime on just about anything. Candy is a fighting food. Let's see if I can get. So here we got a Northern Africa campaign photo, probably British and American. Let's see. No, just American. Yeah, we got stars and stripes on all their shoulders. Enjoying their sea rations here by the Campbell Soup Company. Kaylynn saying her dad worked in a cereal factory that carried the Ralston Purina name. I mean, yeah, they work with a lot of raw materials. I guess it would make sense to make whatever you can out of out of them, and potentially use the secondary to make your dog food. I don't know. Actual meat meals from the 5-in-1 ration carried by the U.S. Armored Forces operating in enemy territory. I somehow doubt the bacon would look uh, that fresh, but here we're looking at breakfast is. Let's see, we got bacon, we got tomato juice cocktail for breakfast. Interesting. We've got sliced. Oh wait, no, that would be just sliced canned bacon. I wonder if it was pre-cooked. I assume it would have to be. That would be really interesting to find too, because I've had canned bacon, 10 plus years old. No hint whatsoever of starting to change. Coffee, biscuits, sugar and canned milk, cigarettes, instant whole wheat. So we got our biscuits here, look like graham crackers almost on this side of it. We've got our instant whole wheat. Not sure what this is underneath the biscuits. Not sure, based on what the description of the food is. Here, we've got bean soup in the canteen cup, canned roast beef, instant rice, canned peas, biscuits not pictured, pears, we got pears in there, nice, hard candy, lemon powder, and sugar. So these are, these are 5-in-1 meals. So these would be, like in between a C ration and a B ration. I believe these are what the Ration Small Detachment 5 persons officially turned into. Be larger cans that get cooked all together and then distributed among 5 people. Supper had meat and vegetable stew, prunes, biscuits, apricot jam, cocoa, sugar, and canned milk. So that one looks really good. Prunes. Purina monkey chow. I guess people do have pet monkeys. Interesting looking tanks. Yeah, going back to that desert ad. They certainly don't look like Shermans. They almost look like some German tanks of the era, but they're probably US. I'm just not familiar with that one. Yeah, supper does look like it's meant to go right through you. Apricots and prunes. The meat and vegetable stew looks a little binding. Dinner being lunch just never fits right in my head. Dinner is dinner, but dinner is supper. More Campbell's soup. A lot of good 5-in-1 ads. So, I mean, right now I've got like 60-ish of these ads. There's a few more I have to scan that came in more recently. But, I do want to eventually do something with these. I think this could be potentially a revenue source for the museum, selling reproductions of these, or, selling shirts that have some of this stuff on it, maybe. But probably reproduction posters, like big posters of this kind of stuff, might do well. And we've got like I said, we've got really good, about as good a scan as you're going to get, short of finding the original, like like the original printer's copy of the ad, which usually be much bigger to reduce down to print size. Short of finding one of those, which I put the chances at basically zero. These are probably the best copies out there. This is talking about food basically losing its mass through dehydration in the desert, so cellophane keeps that from happening, etc. There was a while there where I was just going crazy with ads because everything was new. Now when I dig around, I see a lot of these same ads, and not as many that, it's pretty few and far between that I find one that isn't already in the collection. Though I'm sure there were hundreds, so we'll see. I'm sure more will turn up. This is one of my favorites. Yeah, this one is one of my favorites right here. Let's see, let me break this off so we can see the whole thing. So this one, it's a nice photograph of the actual content of a can of just hamburgers, grilled, cooked, ready to go. Is this like a McDonald's ad kind of thing where they're not, representative of what you get, or is this, exactly what you get taken right out of the can? That I can't say, but these do look tasty. I would eat these, readily. A yardstick of protein foods. New meat development for American fighters. Grilled hamburgers in a can. Pre-cooked, pre-browned, then sealed in a vacuum to hold that right out of the skillet taste. Yeah, these look good. Did we already see this one? It looks like the same tank. Did I scan this one twice? So here we got first class food. Here we got it again. So I must have not recognized that there was a duplicate among these and scanned it twice. Looks like the second one's a little clearer. Same overall though. So yeah, definitely saw that twice. I wonder if I just scanned the same one twice or if I have two of that one. There is a whole section of duplicates. Because I have inadvertently picked up the same ad more than once. More than once. All right, I think we can wrap up here for the week. Figure that this might be a little more fun than diving right back into some code for the post meal segment, since we were done eating, with a good chunk of time to spare. But hope everybody had a good time this week. Doing these shorter streams, at least in the meantime. But it's still a good chance to catch up, see some progress, share the whatever meal I happen to be trying for the week with you guys. Next week, I'm not certain what I'm going to be going for food-wise. I've got a handful of choices here at the house. I might actually go into the museum at some point this week and see what I got there, because I know I have a couple more like larger things that I haven't gotten to try before. So we'll see what I can dig up. Gonna try and get gonna get the collection site launched between now and next week. Just got a few pieces to do there, and then we can take a look at the end result there, see what I got cleaned up, and dive in on the next major project. So still have some stuff to photograph, catalog, and get on the site, but not much. Just some cases and maybe two more boxes of smaller stuff. Made a bunch of good progress the last time I went in, and don't have too much more. Bigger stuff like the B-17 kitchen, the great big water barrels, the civil defense barrels, the abandoned ship like big metal barrel, that kind of stuff. I still have to catalog and get on the website. The officer's mess, that whole fold out setup, need to get that on there. There's still some stuff. So quite a bit left to do. But coming up soon, I've really got to start reaching out to different companies and start asking for some financial assistance on this project. In my current state, I can't, unless I find a new source of income, I've got limited time where I can continue spending, the amount of money I'm spending on renting the place, that we use for the museum. So I got to get working on finding funding sooner rather than later. Which, with the collection site in place, really just have to make a couple videos and, start getting the word out, start just reaching out to different companies, and maybe look at grant programs and that sort of stuff. So coming up to that. I'm not sure how I can really stream much of that, but we'll figure something out that's worth, watching. Or even just coming in for a quick update and sharing a meal. That works too. So until next time, guys, just want to thank everybody for coming out yet again. Where are we going? We can stay on this view. It's been it's been a really fun week, and I will be back next week, same time, 5 to 7. We're gonna jump into whatever we jump into. So stay out of the heat out there. I know it's a heat wave for pretty much most of us. The only folks I'm sure, or the only folks I bet are doing a little better than us heat wise would be, Cyanide Cookies, Dan down there in Australia, and maybe one or two other folks that I know of in the Southern Hemisphere. Other than that, we're all just kind of suffering through pretty warm summer. So everybody do your best to stay out of the heat, stay hydrated, and until next week, just remember, stay rational.